Well, the government is shut down. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm really... I had somebody call me at home last night. What we're rat about. Somebody called from the family and said, "Is it safe to fly tomorrow?" And I'm like, "What? Why? What are you hearing? Government shutting down. Planes going to fall out of the sky?" No, they're not going to fall out of the sky. Well, let me just say that. Today I'm not sure I would try to be someplace that's not under the sky. Let's just say that, just to be safe. Be someplace not under the sky, because the planes are going to be falling. And when I say the planes are going to fall out of the sky, I mean more than Boeing planes are going to be falling out of the sky today, because it's going to be chaos, complete chaos. The government is just, and by the way, you should start taking Mandarin, because the Chinese are going to invade, because the army is on furlough now because of these damn Republicans. Oh, wait. No, hang on. Just a second. It's the Democrats. The Democrats who are being so unbelievably irresponsible. You know what they always say when the Republicans do this? They're so irresponsible. And you're like, wait a minute. No. This time they're being very, very irresponsible. The Democrats are, because the Republicans just would not allow health care to be extended to all illegal aliens. I actually heard somebody on CNN yesterday say all people have a right to health care. No, I mean, you mean American citizens? No, all people. So illegals, all people of Earth should be able to have universal health care. Oh, okay. Well, why don't we just start writing that check for the Chinese too? You know, the poor Greeks, man, they really have. Cuba, they're having a hard time with their healthcare system. There are a lot of places collapsing. We should just write the check for everybody on Earth for their healthcare. How does that even make sense? Now, the Democrats are in a really precarious situation because they had to acquiesce to the extreme left because their base wants to fight. And I think literally fight. But at least in this particular case, it means you have to walk out on a deal. You cannot accept it unless you have universal health care. And so they said, no, Republicans, what a surprise. No, not going to do it. Actually, it is kind of a surprise. Wouldn't you say, Stu? It is kind of a surprise that they're not saying yes to even more spending.
Yes, and we can't rule it out quite yet, but it's the fact that they didn't immediately before the shutdown even just agree to whatever they wanted to spend is nice.
Correct. So I if I may make a prediction and see where I'm wrong on this, my prediction of how this thing is going to work is we're going to shut down because the Republicans didn't want to spend more money and the Democrats wanted to spend $1 trillion more. And so what will happen is we'll shut down, but we'll spend more money, and we'll end up paying for it. And then they'll just sign another continuing resolution and nothing will be done. And that'll be
that's a little pessimistic there, Glenn. I think you'd have a little more optimism here.
It only comes from 60 years of watching our government.
Yes, although I do think things are a little bit different right now, right?
Yeah,
I think, I think the Republicans are in a place where they have more cards than the Democrats do. There's a good chance the Democrats wind up getting blamed for this by the American people, not the media, but by the American people. They don't like shutdowns, even though I'm honestly not that broken up about them.
I'm thrilled.
Yeah. And then you have the other part of this, which is maybe the Russell Vought, Donald Trump.
Do you think that's real?
Well,
by the way, is that how you say his name? Because I've always thought it was Russ Vought.
I hear both ways, so I don't know. I'm just going to go back and forth to confuse people. But that's in case you don't know what we're talking about here, there's a Russ. He put together this plan over the 4 years where they were out of power to try to maximize opportunities like this. And he, there's this long profile just written in the New York Times about how scary and terrifying he is for those reasons. But
because he's smart and prepared.
When you hear Trump talk about, hey, we're just going to fire these people and not bring them back, that is it's Trump's
Russ's
plan. It's Trump's idea with Russ's execution behind it. And so that's the thought here, is that maybe you can get some long-term gains out of this. One of my other favorite nuggets on this, Glenn, is the healthcare credits that they're looking for, that the Democrats say they want. Right? They're like, we got to have these. We can't have a 7-week, which was the proposal by Republicans, 7 weeks of just continuing the spending and figuring things out. So currently, those tax credits are in effect. They are available right now. Republicans want to end them. The interesting part is they don't run out in the 7-week period that Republicans are proposing to increase or to continue the spending. So they wouldn't go away if everybody's just signed on to the Republican plan, which, by the way, I mean, neither one of us particularly like. It's just increasing spending at these ridiculous levels for another 7 weeks. But these credits that they're so worried about, that they're going to kill all these people and the healthcare is going to go away, don't go away during that time period. They go away after that. And they're saying, well, people are going to get notified that they're going away in that period, and therefore we have to shut down the government so that people wouldn't get notifications that they might be going away. We have to stop it before that. That's their big plan.
You would think that the Democrats would want people to be notified that they're going away because it would help their case.
Right. Well, I mean, there's an argument to be made that maybe they do. But I think a lot of that is just they're making things up as they go along. Right.
That doesn't sound like the Democratic Party.
Like Chuck Schumer last time, when he was threatened with evil Russ and his evil plans, said, okay, we're going to fold and we're going to just keep the government going at the current levels. And this time he's saying the exact opposite. And he's saying, because last time his idea was, well, they're going to fire all these people. This time he's saying, well, they're firing all these people anyway. Like they just move the goalposts, change the arguments, and act as if this all makes sense.
And so here's what I would like to see Donald Trump do. Because I read this morning, and I don't know what rag it was, but they were saying, Donald Trump, he's bluffing. He's bluffing. No, I don't think he is. I hope he's not. Listen to Donald Trump yesterday on this Cut 1.
If DOGE is already reducing the federal workforce, why is it necessary to link more federal jobs cut to a shutdown?
Well, the Democrats want to shut it down, so when you shut it down, you have to do layoffs. So we'd be laying off a lot of people that are going to be very affected, and the Democrats, they're going to be Democrats. As you know, no country can afford to pay for illegal immigration, health care for everybody that comes into the country, and that's what they're insisting. And obviously, I have an obligation to not accept that. That would affect everybody. When I see what we're doing with AI and all the plants that are opening up in the country, $17 trillion is coming. And if you compare that to Biden had, in 4 years, less than $1 trillion. We have $17 trillion, more than that. I think it's going to be much more than that, David, by the end of this year. I think it's going to be far over that. It's a record. It's already a record in 8 months. It's a record by a lot. And so we're doing well as a country, so the last thing we want to do is shut it down. But a lot of good can come down from shutdowns. We can get rid of a lot of things that we didn't want, and they'd be Democrat things, but they want open borders. They want men playing in women's sports. They want transgender for everybody. They never stop. They don't learn. We won an election in a landslide. They just don't learn. So we have no choice. I have to do that for the country.
So what I'm hearing him say here over and over again is, we're just going to shut these things down. We don't want them. And it's a permanent thing. You're going to have to go through reauthorization to get these non-essential programs back. And if they're not mandated, he's saying, Russ is planning to just cut them all. If it's not mandatory spending, cut it. I think that is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I don't know why we haven't done that before. Now, it's going to go into the court system, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be a fight, but that's one I'm willing to die on. That's a hill I want to take.
Yeah, and of course, you're right. Every single one of those jobs will have a lawsuit attached to it, and they will get some of them reversed. There's no question about it. But
right, that's why you should fire twice the amount of people.
You're right. If they're gonna reverse half of them, just fire twice as many.
Yeah.
And I think partially one of the reasons why the question from the reporter was, hey, if you're doing this with Doge already, how come? Well, part of it is a lot of the Doge stuff got blocked. Right. A lot of the Doge stuff got blocked by courts, and it's been a real problem. So this is a way they think they have a little bit more legal clearance on it. Glenn, can I give you one trip down memory lane here, though? This is a fun one. Fun trip down memory lane. Let's go back to 2009, if we could. Barack Obama, he's doing the State of the Union address.
Oh my God.
And in the middle of this great man's address, as he's talking about the wonders of Obamacare, an evil Republican legislator screams out, "You lie," from the audience. It's a massive controversy. A terrible.
You don't do that.
You don't do that.
Call the president of the United States a liar.
Decorum,
you don't
sir.
Do it. Decorum. You can call him a Nazi, but you don't call him a liar. Okay.
So he says you lie. Why does he say you lie? He says, because Barack Obama is up there on the stage, and Barack Obama says, with Obamacare, we're not going to be giving any health care to illegal immigrants.
You lie.
You lie. That's the controversy. Everyone says, of course, every media report is, of course this isn't an Obamacare. It's a shy. How would he even claim such a thing? And then the next president, the next Democratic presidential candidate, Hillary Clinton, puts it in the middle of her website for running for office. That's 2016. It's part of her platform that illegal immigrants will get care under Obamacare. Part of her platform. They go from you lie to part of the platform in just one presidential election. And then we should note now that it's so shocking that illegal immigrants wouldn't get health care out of Obamacare. We need to shut the government down over it. That is how your country works in 3 easy steps.
That is by definition progressivism. You move in the direction, but you say no, it'll never be that. Then the next president, the next opportunity, you move a little further and you go like, well, that's it. And then the next president, the next opportunity, you're like, of course that's what it is. I mean, it's just right there.
And then you say, how dare you hurt these poor people by taking away that plan we said didn't exist?
Right.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
And nobody knows because people are just so stupid. They don't remember you lie. They have been ratcheted up into their hatred for the other side. And they always lie. They always lie. They always lie. They always lie. Like when he stood up and called President Obama a liar. Yeah, well, no, they weren't lying. They were telling the truth because they understand how progressivism works. But you refuse to see, this is my favorite question to ask people is, how did you get there? How did you get there? What do you mean? How did you get to where illegal aliens should, because you were against that 10 years ago. In fact, you said that's a lie. That'll never happen. Okay, so take me to that's a lie that'll never happen, which you were passionate about because you understood we couldn't afford that. Tell me the logic that had been introduced to you over the last 10 years that made you move from that's a lie, that will never happen, how un-American of you to even say we would think that way, to how dare you even try to say we shouldn't be paying for that health care. Help me with the logic, because I want to understand. My guess is you've just been riding a wave of feelings and propaganda. So please tell me, how did you get from that place 10 years ago to this place today? Because there is no new information. There's none. In fact, the new information shows it's even more insane to do it today than it was 10 years ago.